What is up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm going to talk about how to be more driven. Let's get started. One of the subscribers to this channel submitted this great question. How do I be more driven? How can I become more passionate about stuff and just have drive, just wake up with drive? That is a great question, and it's not really a simple answer, but I'm going to give you some cool things to think about in the process. Here are 4 things that come to mind when I think about being more driven and how I myself challenge myself to be more driven in different areas. Number 1, and this is a tough one for people, but I've got a separate video altogether on this subject where I really unpack the idea and the process of how to do it. So I'm going to just touch lightly on it here to mention it as one of the 4 points, but I want you to find that video and really dive deeper into this subject. Number 1, find your purpose. Everybody's born with a God-given purpose. You have something that God's been forming in your life and working in your life with all of your experiences, all the people that you meet, all the opportunities you're presented with. Everything, your trials, your good, your bad, He's forming you for some purpose that you were born with. You need to find that. And that's not really easy to do. There's a process for that, but look for that video, how to find your purpose, and dive a little bit deeper. But if you know your purpose, once you know your purpose, it's easy to be driven because that's what lights you up. You wake up thinking about it. You think about it through the day. You work hard on it. All of your spare time is spent thinking about your purpose and how to get better at what you do, how to reach other people, or whatever it is that your purpose is. It might even be athletics or something personal, not business related. Maybe it's something completely different. And know this, your purpose is not always tied to your career. It's not always tied to a job. Sometimes you have a job to fund what your real purpose is. So I go into all that on the other video as well. But number 1, how to be more driven is really find your purpose. Figure out what you're passionate about. And that really helps you to dig deeper, to tap into resources you didn't know you had, to get creative beyond the things that you normally think about. And here's a cool thing that you can do in that area. Start listing ways that you can help out your purpose. Once you know your purpose or whatever it is that you're thinking about, whatever area of your life that you're thinking about, start listing things that you can do in that to be more driven, to be more passionate, to be more productive in that area. I guarantee you, once you get beyond 10 things, starting with number 11 and beyond is where the real gold is going to come from. Your first 10 are just, you know it, it's common sense. You write them down, la, la, la. But really, when you start tapping deeper to get into that 11th and 12th and beyond, things that you can physically do, that you can do in that area, that's where the magic comes from and the creative things to get you deeper into an area in your life. So that, number 1, find your purpose. Once you do that, you're able to be more driven easily. Number 2, let's say you don't know your purpose yet. Well, during your purpose, you've got other areas of your life. You've got different roles that you play. You do have your job. You've got your hobbies. You've got different sports activities. You've got your boyfriend or a girlfriend role. You've got your mother role. You've got your wife role. Whatever it is, you've got different roles that you play. You've got a daughter role, a son role, a niece role. There's many, many hats that you wear, many, many labels that are put on you. You need to think about drive and how to be more driven in all of the areas of your life, not just a general thing, but figure out each of maybe your top 5 to 7 roles that you play, the different 5 to 7 hats that you wear in different relationships, and list those out. Figure out, is it a wife? Is it a girlfriend? Is it an employee? Is it a daughter? Is it a best friend? Is it an athlete? Is it a participant of something? Whatever it is, define those roles and lay them out, and then start working drive within those. How can I get better at what I do? Here's the thing. it doesn't take a lot to rise above everybody else, to rise above competition, because a grade C is average, right? B is above average, and A is excellent. There's a small percentage of people that live in or as an A. There's a larger percentage that live at the B. The majority live in that C zone, that average zone, because they do just enough to get by. They just go, they're fairly decent at what they do, but they just live in that C zone. Then, of course, you've got D's and F's, which are below the average. So in general, no matter what walk, no matter what hat you're wearing, you can think of people who are A's, B's, C's, and D's. So start thinking about it that way and look at your life. So if you need more drive, if you confess and you do a self-test and realize, yeah, I could probably use more drive in my life, then you're probably just getting by as a C student in that area of life. When you put that hat on, you're just a C. You're doing just enough to get by with. So as you make your list in that area of your life, and you're thinking of things and ways to get more driven, to be better at what you do, to think outside the box, to get into that 11, 12, 13 thing on your list that are really, really important, I want you to be thinking about the grade level. So if you're a C, you're thinking of how to get to a B. So maybe even put it in columns. I can do these things and be a C, which is maybe what I'm doing right now. I can do these things, and that's usually the number 6 through 10, to be a B in this area. And then the 11 and beyond things on your list of things that you can do to get better at what that area is, that's how you live as an A. So again, number 2, define those areas in your life. Define those areas in which you want to be more driven within. You need to be really specific, because the more generic you are and just hypothetical with, yeah, I need more drive, and you don't really define what that means, you're probably not going to be successful. So number 2, super important. Start writing those areas of life, the different hats that you wear, and then put that C student, B student, A student columns and what you can do in your life to make those things happen. And then just do them. Just start doing those things, maybe one a day or one a week, and change things, go a little beyond. Because once you do rise above and you become a B or an A in those areas, you're really going to stand out and start living life to the fullest, because that's where the people live who are really together, have their act together, and you look at them and you're like, wow, you know, it seems like they get all the breaks. That's the lucky person. That's the wealthy person. That's the happy person. Usually they're that way because they've made great choices in their life. Number 3, this is super important also for being more driven. You need to find your why. What's your purpose? Why do you want to be more driven? Because if you don't really have a solid reason why, so if it's in your career, it may be because you want to move up through, you want a different title, you want a different income, you want to influence other people, maybe you want to lead other people. Whatever your why is in the different areas of your life, you need to write those down also. So once you categorize the different areas in your life, the different hats that you wear, the different roles that you play, once you do that, part of that exercise also is a box where you define your why. Why do you want to be a better girlfriend? Why do you want to be a better mom? Why do you want to be a better employee? Why do you want to be a better athlete? Whatever it is, why do you want to be more fit? Why do you want to be more healthy? What are the reasons for these things? Write that down and just say, my why. Have that box there, because that is really huge. Once you have that list of your whys, of why you're wanting to be better in these things, why you want to be more driven in this area, you're going to be more hungry to tackle whatever it is. And put pictures on that. Don't just put words, put a picture. So if you want to be a better mom, put a picture of a happy family with kids and they're laughing and just hugging, and that's what you want. You want that togetherness. If you want to be a better employee, maybe to have a bigger income, put a house or a boat or whatever it is that you want to aspire to have with that extra money. Maybe a trip. Maybe you want to take more spontaneous trips around. Put a vacation site as a picture. But in that why, when you list out whatever it is, the reasons why you want to be more driven, Have pictures associated with it, even if you draw it. But just get magazines and cut out pictures of your why that reinforce your why to make you more hungry to be driven in the areas that you want to be better at. And number 4, this is really important. You need to know your ROI. And most people know that as return on investment. So what am I going to get back when I do this? So if I do number 1, number 2, and number 3, what's my ROI? What's my return on investment? When I do these things, what is going to be my return? When I invest this effort, I invest the time, I make my list, I start making my changes. That's my investment. When I start doing these things, what's my return? But that's not the way I look at ROI. The way I look at ROI is what's my return on ignoring, not investment. What's my return on ignoring? So what's the cost of not doing this? Not what's the reward of doing it. That does have its place and there's value in that, but I like the twist on it. What's my return on ignoring? So if I don't do these things, if I don't dig in, I don't make this, and I'm going to be a C student forever, I'm going to be an average employee, I'm going to be an average athlete, I'm going to be an average husband or wife or spouse or mom or dad, whatever it is, you don't want to be average. You don't want to be that. You want to rise above. But write down the cost of what it's going to cost you if you ignore it. What if you stay the same? Maybe it's a broken relationship. Maybe it's divorce. Maybe it's that your kids grow up wayward and you weren't really there. You didn't really dive in that parental role like you wanted to. Maybe they get into the wrong crowd. So write down the cost of ignoring, that return on ignoring. What are you going to get back if you don't do this, if you're not more driven, if you don't make these changes? What's the cost of that? That's very important. So if you don't apply yourself more at work to move up through the ranks, and I've got another great video on work ethic. Just look up that video. It's tremendous. It's just great nuggets to help you have a better work ethic and move up through the ranks in the job or whatever you're working at. But if you don't do these things, what's the cost of that? Your friends maybe pass you by. They get the raise. They get the position. They get the title. You just stay where you are. You start getting disgruntled. You start really dreading work. You don't even want to go into work. Maybe you lose your job because they sense that, because they want hungry, driven people, and you're not one of those. So the cost of ignoring would be maybe you're out of a job, and that is just not a fun place to be. Maybe it's in your relationship. Maybe it is that broken relationship. Maybe it's divorce. Maybe it's other things. So whatever area you're in, when you list out your roles, you list out your C student, B student, A student, things that you can do to be more driven and more drive, and you list your reasons why you need to do these things to define your why, you need to have that other box of return on ignoring. So what is the cost of not doing this? Once you have all these 4 things in place, and you start really diving into the different areas of your life in which you want to be more driven, now you're going to have more passion. Now you're going to have more drive. You've got it clearly defined. You've listed it out. Maybe get somebody to help you with this. Maybe you get your significant other or a best friend or maybe your parent or somebody to sit down with you, a mentor, somebody to sit down with you and help you with this list. And just say, look, I control my decisions. I control my choices. I am who I want to be when I wake up, just by the mindset that I have. I want to have a more driven life. I want to live life to the fullest. I want to live my best life. What does that look like? Help me with this. And maybe you'll inspire somebody else to do the same, and then you hold each other accountable. Start making these lists, going through the 4 things that I'm talking about, and you'll find that if you really dig in, you can create your own drive. You can create that whole motivation where you wake up with a different mindset, you live through the day with a different mindset, and you go to sleep with a peaceful mind because you know you've done the things that you needed to do, and you are truly grabbing life by the horns and living life to the fullest. That's my story today. I hope you got some information out of this. I hope you like things like this. If you do, please share it with other people. Tell them about this channel and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. Thank you so much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate you being here. And if you have any other great ideas for content that I can talk about or give my opinions on or my advice on, write them in the comments below. I'll be glad to help you.